Reading comes from the 139th Psalm, verses 6 through 11. Where can I go then from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I climb up to heaven, you are there. If I make the grave my bed, you are there also. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, your right hand hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will cover me and the light around me turn to night, even darkness is no darkness with you. The night is as clear as the day. Darkness and light to you are both alike. A couple of days ago, an old school friend of mine, from more than 20, 22, 23 years ago, contacted me via social media, remaking our acquaintance. And what followed was a rather wonderful exchange where we learnt about what had happened in each other's lives, what we were doing, where we were living. My friend now lives in Canada and works in financial services, so I learnt all about the work that he does and what he finds rewarding and challenging about it. And in return, I explained to him about my career, about what had happened, and how I now serve as a curate at St. Mary's in Portsmouth. My friend lives in Canada, a country that's very different to ourselves, certainly without an established church, and he himself is not a churchgoer, is not a Christian. And so he was quite intrigued as to what I get up to with my time and in my days, what goes on, the public parts of ministry and the more private. And he asked me about the daily reflections because he was looking on the internet and was seeing what we had been doing for the past 5, 6, 7 months. And he asked me how we go around that, and so I invited him to look at today's reading of the psalm. Now, I don't know what you took from the psalm, but my interpretation certainly is one of encouragement and joy, a sense that God is with us even in the dark times. And so the reaction of my friend was really quite surprising to me. He read this and turned around to me and said, my goodness, this is absolutely terrible, this is awful. And I must admit I had to take a step back and think, oh, really? Why? And he explained to me, well, look, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the same things that you believe. But the thought that everything I do, everything I see, everything I feel is being judged and watched by someone else, well, that terrifies me, for I could never escape from it if that were the case. And I had to take a real step back. And it made me realize that the way that we read Scripture and the way that we perceive the world are, of course, entirely and completely through the prism of our faith and our belief. You see, for me, those verses of the 139th Psalm provide me considerable comfort. And in fact, in times where I have been at my lowest ebb, where I have felt somewhat alone, I have found that they have given me considerable comfort and support in the knowledge that even though I may be having a tough time personally, I can take confidence in the knowledge that God is with me, that there will be good to come through the trials and tribulations that I am encountering, that ultimately I am safe and secure with him. And I think that perhaps is the message for today's psalm reading. That confidence and certainty that no matter what is going wrong in our lives, whatever we feel is unjust, whatever we feel is unnecessarily difficult, or perhaps even more than we can bear, God is there with us throughout this life and the next, supporting us, guiding us, and giving us comfort. And in my conversations with my friend, it made me realize that my faith, the faith that I have, the faith that we share, is in itself a gift of God. That his grace allows us to perceive and see the world as more than we are. And that in itself can give us comfort.